Welcome into the College Football Nightcap, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Lucas Hill. We are T-minus 6 days and counting until we officially get into the College Football Playoff National Championship to be underway. Guys, we are really excited as we get closer and closer to the national title. We will have our pregame show before the game starts. Talk with some insiders, some analysts regarding both Ohio State and Notre Dame. We'll also get into a little bit about what happens afterwards, as you already know. Guys, we've had a very successful 2 live streams talking about none other than Ohio State and Notre Dame. So we'll kind of get into that a little bit as well. So, guys, thank you all once again for being here as we get closer and closer to next Monday's game. Super, super stoked to get into it. Guys, before we continue any further, if you are watching on X, make sure that you are liking, sharing, and subscribing for more from us here at the College Football Nightcap. If you're watching on X, give us a like. Make sure you repost the video. Share it to your friends. Make sure that they're up to date. Also, if you're watching us on Instagram, make sure you give us a comment. Make sure you give me a follow at Lucas_Hill17. Your support is unbelievably needed, and it is awesome that you guys are tuning in. So we want to thank you all for the continued support and the continued love for the College Football Nightcap. Let's get started right away with the big news that is going on currently. Look, got a big one out in Missouri and Florida, by the way, in basketball. Missouri up 79-77. 29 seconds left in the second half. Man, we got a big one coming up in a few weeks in football. Michigan's Wink Martindale. Where's he going to head? Got some NFL draft talk. Got a lot of other things, guys. We'll see. We shall see indeed. And we are really excited. So, as we continue along, guys, make sure that you like as well as subscribe for more as we continue along here on College Football Nightcap. Got about 9 of you guys already in here. Guys, we got a lot to talk about today. First of all, you got to look out for what's going on out in Michigan, Wink Martindale. The likelihood of him staying at Michigan is very slim. He's been interviewing for the Falcons as well as the Chicago Bears defensive coordinator position. I think he's probably one of the best defensive coordinators in all of college football, in my opinion. I think Martindale's done a great job ever since he came to Michigan, coming from New York and from the Ravens. It's obvious he wants to go back to the league. I think he will go back to the league. Got a lot of experience with him. You know, and I think that this is a guy that I love genuinely as a defensive coordinator. I think his game obviously translate to the NFL. It's been translating that for the last several weeks. And it is truly, truly awesome seeing where he has come from. So I think Martindale is definitely going to head back to the NFL. Definitely wouldn't surprise me if that is the case. After being around for 21 years in the NFL, why wouldn't you want to go back? So don't be surprised if that is the case. And again, we'll just have to see what happens in the coming weeks. By the way, Missouri just went up 81-77 on Florida at the moment. We'll see what happens as we continue on there. But no, Martindale's going to bring a lot of experience with him. I mean, you're talking about one of the best defensive minds in football overall. And you're talking about a guy that's going to change the way defenses are made. I mean, you're talking about great defensive line play. You're talking about linebacking wise. He's one of the best linebacker coaches in the league. He's been like, I mean, when you coach guys like C.J. Mosley and when you coach guys like Terrell Suggs, he was there whenever Ray Lewis entered his last year in the league. And so the guy has a lot of experience as a linebackers coach, and the guy is going to continue to develop as a coach during the next several years. And the guy is just going to straight up be a difference maker for a lot of NFL teams, by the way. By the way, how about Missouri getting a huge win against Florida? Looks like this will be the final score. They got off to a hot start, 50-34 at the end of the first half, but Florida managed to climb their way back. Marquette got a huge one against DePaul. A lot of people were had a very controversial end to it. I think Florida, I don't think they're in the bonus anymore, but we'll just have to see when we get down there. Auburn absolutely destroying Mississippi State, by the way. Oh, wow. Big early three-pointer from Elijah Martin. Got a second left. It doesn't matter anyway. Missouri just won. Anyway, huge win for the Tigers on the road, going to Florida and pulling off a massive victory. I know the field is 68. We'll have a great, great time with that one. Man, it's going to be a good one. Let's talk a little bit about Cam Rising and the big news that just got dropped a couple hours ago. So if you haven't heard, Cam Rising is no longer on the Utah football roster. That's the latest indicator that the longtime Ute star will move on from the program. He began his college career in 2018 at Texas. Still has a year of eligibility because of redshirt seasons with the COVID-19 waiver and because of the several injuries. Missed all of 2023 and only appeared in 3 games in 24 due to an injury to his throwing hand. They added transfer quarterback Devin Dampier, who started during the 24th season at New Mexico. Inconsistent, but I think he'll be a decent addition to the Kyle Whittingham offense. This is what Kyle Whittingham talks right now. I've talked to Cam a few times, but that is really up to Cam when he wants to divulge into what his plan is. We've certainly had some communication, and you don't see him on the roster right now, so that should tell you some things there. So, obviously, they're moving on from him. And look, it sucks knowing what type of future that Cam Rising had a couple of years ago. And look, I love Cam Rising. I love what he brings to the table. I am a very big Cam Rising fan. This dude is an excellent guy and quarterback. But the problem is that when you're so injury prone, and you saw how he looked in the first 3 games, he's not the same Cam Rising he was back in 2021 that led Utah to a Rose Bowl. He's just not. And it sucks to say that because of what he's been able to do during his career year. And you know he's going to leave a lasting impact at Utah. So you tear multiple knee ligaments. And when you sustain that throwing hand injury, you knew that it was only a matter of time before it was over with for him. So I do think that he's going to enter in the spring window. He's going to try because, look, Cam is a great overall player, but his career is so crazy that I don't think we'll ever see another guy like Cam Rising in college football ever again. And it's so incredible to me what he was able to do this year and what just the overall legacy that he leaves behind. It certainly was one that not a lot of people were expecting several years ago. But I do believe that at the end of the day, Cam Rising has to make the better choice for himself for his future. Because look, if the Lord is good to him, and look, I believe that he is, he has a better plan for him. He wants to be able to hold his kids. He wants to be able to play with his kids. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter what you do, but it's time to move on. It's time to move on from playing college football. It's time to move on from your NFL dreams. Go get a job. Go enjoy your life. Don't put your body any more at risk than it already is, dude. It's just time to move on. I just don't see a scenario where Cam Rising returns to college football. Does it hurt? Absolutely, dude. It really does. But to be honest with you, I don't think anybody really should be shocked knowing what they were able to do, knowing what this team is, knowing what he's done in his career at Utah. So at the end of the day, guys, I mean, this is up to him. I don't see a scenario where he goes back to college football, but again, that decision is up to him. All right, let's talk some NFL draft declarations. We got 3 of them, specifically from Texas. And I know we talked about it. I talked about it a good bit with Chris Phillips today on Texas Sports Unfiltered. So it definitely was a weird year for Texas. I mean, you never really felt like they were truly among the elite in college football up until you got to the playoffs and then you really saw them. That's when people started to realize, okay, maybe they'll be all right. And then you saw so I don't know whether or not I believe that Texas is truly back just yet. Look, had a great season. Make no mistake about that. You make a deep run and you get yourself into the college football playoff semifinals for the 2nd straight year in a row. Congratulations. But here's the problem with this. I don't know if I can truly see a scenario where Texas goes back next year and wins the national championship. I think that's just too much of a high expectation for them. I just don't. And look, you can not like what I believe, but I do have a very, very strong opinion about it, and it's not good, to be honest with you. It's just not. I have a hard time seeing a scenario where Texas comes back after 2 unbelievable seasons where you make the college football playoff semifinal. This is a great run this year. Make no mistake about it. I was wrong about Texas this year. But I don't think you can win the national championship with just a guy like Arch Manning. And make no mistake, Manning's a difference maker. I think when you surround him with the right pieces, I think he can be an elite quarterback. The fact of the matter is, though, is that you're talking about a Texas team that's going to lose Matthew Golden, who was your number 1 pass catcher this year. You're going to lose Isaiah Bond, who was your number 2 guy. And so who does that leave you with? Well, it leaves you with a lot of, not a whole lot of options, I should say. So you're gonna end up. I do think that Silas Bolden will still be there. I'm not sure just yet, but didn't do a whole lot this year, to be honest with you. Was more of a return man. That's where he made the most of his money, was in the return game. But man, I mean, I don't know truly about what's going to happen with him and what is going to be the future for a guy like that in the near future. Because look, Silas Bolden may come up and be your number one guy. I know he's 5'8", 160 pounds, but there's not a whole lot you can expect from a guy like that. And look, this is no disrespect towards him. I love what he brings to the table, but he's going to be your guy going into 2025. And if Sark can't do anything, despite losing guys like Alfred Collins, like Makuba, like Bill Norton, Cam Williams, your two outside tackles in Cam Williams, as well as Kelvin Banks, you lose Jake Majors, you lose your Jim Thorpe Award winner in Jahdae Barron. Plus, you end up losing Quinn Ewers this year. By the way, Ewers just declared for the NFL draft. I don't think I think Ewers is better off going to stay another year in college and making your money there. I don't see a scenario where Ewers is in a position to where he can go play in the NFL and have the same success that he had at Clemson or at Texas. I just don't. Plus, you're losing Jonte Cook, who was supposed to be another one of your guys that you were going to want this year. You know, you're gonna end up losing. You're going to end up losing all that. You're losing a lot of depth in the defensive line. So, plus you end up losing Scotty Hazelton, who's now the defensive coordinator at Wake Forest. And Hazelton was a one-year guy. He was a special assistant to the head coach. So is it really a big loss? Not really. But still, a lot. And when you look at the transfer portal this year, there's not really a whole lot of dudes that are coming in that are big time. Like, you got Travis Shaw from North Carolina. That's not bad. I mean, you got a young guy in Brad Spence, who's still a young guy who didn't play a whole lot coming out of Arkansas. He was a top 20 guy. He was a 3-star according to On3. But is he really going to be that guy in the next couple of years? Look, you're young. You got young guys. Justice Terry should be a plug and play. Jonah Williams is as good as advertised, according to a lot of people. You just don't know what to expect for 2025. You get CJ Baxter back, Trey Wisner, and I believe Jaden Blue should be back, I believe. But we'll just have to see, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what to expect from Texas next year. It's definitely going to be so I just don't see a scenario where Texas comes back the very next year and puts up the same things of what you were able to do in 2024. We'll see you guys next time on the Nightcap.